All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to kick the meeting off and welcome. And I want to, I'm not going to go to my slides yet because I want to see who's here so that we can welcome any visitors and guests. Of course, now I have to look at the list. I saw Alissa there. I don't know if she's, yes, we have Alissa Pattinson. She's here. She's going to speak to us a little bit. And are you driving your car and on the right side of your car, or are you just not?
I am sitting in my car in the passenger seat because everyone in my family in my house is asleep. So I don't want to wake everyone up in our tiny house.
Got it. I appreciate it. I thought maybe you were either in England or driving on a special car or something. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hear from Alissa in a few minutes. Let's see who else we have here. I'm looking to see if we have any. Oh, Anne, Dr. Anne Lindsay is here. Anne, you wanted to say hello?
I think she's still connecting.
Oh, she's still connecting. Thank you. So we'll say hello to her when she gets on board also. So welcome, everybody. It's September 11th, and I just want to take a moment to just reflect. A lot is happening and continues to happen in our world, but I just want to take a moment to reflect on the day it is and just remember. So sharing our mission again with everybody, or our vision. And that also that Rotary values diversity and celebrates the contributions of people of all backgrounds. We did introduce some guests already. Anne, I see you're with us now. Welcome, and welcome to our party here this morning. And I wanted to remind folks again, if you are able to make a donation to the Disaster Relief Fund, if you go to rotary5130.org, you'll find the information, and you can also always send a check to Ashley, not to her personally, but you know what to do. So also wanted to note that the Red Cross is in need of some volunteers. This came out yesterday. I don't know if they've gotten their volunteers or what the situation is, but if you have any time this next week, and they'll work with your schedule, just go ahead and text Danny or email Danny or however, and they could use folks' help driving supplies around to people. So if you're able to do that, let them know. Ed agreed to be our webmaster, and then he left the state. So hopefully he'll come back. I don't know if he's going to be here today, but we'll thank him. He went off to Utah so he could experience some other weather, and he got to experience snow. So ever the adventurer. That's what Ed did this last week. But he'll be back and he'll help us with this. So when you see him or talk to him or email him, thank him, because it's going to be great to have someone, help back on that. Wear your mask. Don't make us ask. We are sending photos in. If you haven't done so already, send them to wearamask@gmail.com. We're going to get ourselves a nice Rotary mask sign that we'll be able to put in our businesses or in your own house if you really like your photo. So that'll be fun. Also wanted to let you know about this upcoming event. And Charlie, I don't know if you want to say a few words on this. You're welcome to. But you have to unmute yourself. That's the rule.
Sorry, thought I had. So between tomorrow, the 12th, and the 20th, which is next Sunday, so you have a full solid week. Health Sport is able to support this and promote this memorial run, and it's virtual. And we're really excited because, of course, we had to cancel this year due to COVID. So we're encouraging folks, you can sign up with Health Sport, and there are definitely going to be prizes for folks. We're, again, going to be supporting the Pack Out Green team, and that's pretty much it.
Great. Oops. How did that happen? Thank you. And I know that this early part of the week may not be a great time to go out or go out today or tomorrow, but you have till the 20th. So hopefully the skies will clear a little bit in the next few days, and it'll be a healthier day to go out and support that effort. Thanks, Charlie. So we've got some service stuff. And I had invited Alissa here to talk to us briefly about community gardens and the role of community gardens in healthy communities. So I'm looking, there you are. So I'm turning it over to you, and go ahead and share with us a little bit what you want to tell us about the community gardens locally.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for having me here. I do have some slides to share.
Okay.
Let's see here.
So you should be able to now do that.
You might share. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay. So there are all sorts of community gardens, and I work for Open Door as one of their gardens coordinators, and so we connect our gardens with the health of our community. And so I'll just go a little through the background of our Open Door program, and we have our best practices are addressing the social determinants of health regardless of circumstance. And Open Door's garden team operates under our member services department, which is the department that helps people get Medi-Cal, CalFresh, Covered California, and all sorts of other health-related and nutrition-related resources. So that's, oops. Let's see. Okay, and our mission statement is here. We formed to provide health and nutrition education resources and support to patients and community members in alignment with Open Door's triple aim, which is to reduce health costs, improve health outcomes, and optimize patient experience. So every seed that's planted or harvested, or zucchini that's harvested, goes directly to the health of our community. And our garden team the program provides open community gardens. So our garden model is kind of different than a lot of community gardens where individuals or families rent out a plot and they harvest and take care of the plot, and it's all on their own. Ours are kind of a communally tended model where volunteers show up and we take in their input and share knowledge and skills, and we all work together to provide produce to give away to the community, and volunteers get to take home whatever produce they can eat also. And we do weekly garden produce distributions. This used to be pre-COVID in our clinic sites in the lobbies, and now we have different things going on. And we also have weekly volunteer times, and those now are being pre-scheduled because of COVID. We do outreach through workshops and planting events, and we do nutrition education through a prescription for wellness, home gardens program, and farmers market vouchers. So this is our prescription for wellness. So when you go to the doctor at Open Door, it's possible that you could be prescribed gardening. So you can be prescribed anything related to the social determinants of health, like eating more vegetables, being more active, drinking more water, being mindful, getting some rest, or going out to garden. And this is our Home Gardens pilot program, happened for 3 years. And in this, patients were prescribed a garden at home, and we would go build them a garden bed style of their choice and set them up with plant, soil, and books, and education to keep their garden going. And sometimes we hand out these farmers market vouchers. We're connected with our community partner, the NCGA farmers markets, so we can keep the dollars local in our community. And this is all CalFresh funded. And this is in our different garden sites. We have demonstration garden beds, so examples of what people can kind of do at home, like a raised garden bed, which is wheelchair accessible or good for people who can't bend over so well, or pallet gardens, or different styles of gardens. So this is the pounds of produce grown in 2018. This is the most recent kind of like standard graph that we have for regular times. And so as you can see, we've produced a couple thousand pounds of produce in our 4 gardens actually in Humboldt. And the Eureka garden produces a lot, and it's the smallest garden. And I feel like that is because we have the biggest volunteer support. We have a group of 5 to 7 people that come there every single week to help out. And so it's a tiny, tiny space. It's right across the Eureka Open Door Clinic, if you've ever seen it. And it produces a lot of food, and I think it's because of the people support. And so here is the Fortuna Garden as a second, and then Willow Creek and Arcata are kind of producing less than those. And here's just a little graph of our volunteers. These are some of our Eureka volunteers a couple of years ago, and Eureka's volunteers show, volunteers show up the most, and then Arcata with some student HSU classes and things. And these are some pictures of our distribution sites in the clinics, the tables, Fortuna and Willow Creek, and our 2 open, Arcata, Open Door, and Eureka. And so this is our post-COVID. We've been distributing food in a different way. So we've been connecting with a lot of other community organizations like the Jefferson Center, and NCGA is putting together weekly boxes since COVID started, so people can kind of pick up a pre-ordered box so they don't have to really go to market and expose themselves to COVID. And we've been donating to the St. Joe's Pantry, Fortuna and Eureka Paso a Paso, which is a St. Joe's program helping immigrant families, and the Kamau Resource Center, or Senior Center in Hoopa, and the Willow Creek Family Resource Center. So that's the poundage we've donated in the last quarter of this year since COVID. And here are some photos of our different gardens. Here's the Eureka garden. It's a small space. And just different things happening there. And here is our Willow Creek garden. It's different raised beds because it's such rocky soil. So there we get to grow tomatoes, which is exciting. Here's the smaller, so we have 2 Fortuna gardens, a smaller plot here in the Fortuna Garden Pantry.
Oh, right.
which is over on Newburgh Road, which a lot of different people rent garden plots from. And here is the new Fortuna Clinic site, where this is under construction in 2018, and now there's a lush, productive garden there, and it's pretty exciting. We have a lot of space there, and we have a lot of native plants and demonstration gardens there. This is the Del Norte Community Garden, which is more the traditional model. Individuals can rent out a plot and then just tend it themselves, and it's all theirs. And here's the Arcata Garden. So, and you all, thank you to those of you who've been helping there. And as Maggie may have informed you, I'm not sure, but it's going through transition now. So we at Open Door have decided to pass it on. We've been taking care of it since 2012, and with current just limited staff availability with COVID and a lot of the problems we've had there, we've decided to pass it on, because we have several other gardens to take care of, and in this space we put a lot of love and effort into it, and but we just with some there are just issues that no one organization or one person or group of people can really solve. There's like a lot of homelessness and substance abuse and mental health issues that are untreated, and so yeah, and we've always wanted this space to be an open community garden, and it is, but right now we just don't have the capacity to continue providing this space for people. And this land is owned by the Presbyterian Church, and they've been very supportive and welcoming of having us there. And but so now we are hoping another community organization we can pass the torch on to someone, another organization. And I've been in contact with Humboldt Mutual Aid, and they seem very interested, but they don't have, it's kind of a loosely organized group of individuals who are very motivated, but they don't have a lot of funding for, the water bill or the rent, but they're trying to figure out ways in which they've been talking with Pastor Dan at the church and figuring it out. And Open Door, I and Open Door are going to help support efforts in whatever way we can. And so Mutual Aid has different free produce stands. I don't know if you all know, there's one on M and 12th Street in Arcata on Mondays. They just give out free food to anyone, and they're thinking of the possibility of setting a produce stand in this garden space because it's more centralized, and then people who really need and want the food could go there and pick up the food. Here's some photos of just some other things that have gone on in the past in the Arcata Garden. We've hosted the CCCs there several times. This was like a giant comfrey pole that they did. They just came through like awesome worker bees and just destroyed the comfrey. These are some different workshops we've had going on there. The hugelkultur workshop happened just before COVID started, and we couldn't have volunteer groups anymore. But we built some really cool hugelkultur beds. We've had mushroom growing workshops, birthday mosaic building, and an artist, Jennifer B., installed this peace pole there, which is really nice. And had compost tea workshops going on. And here are just some other volunteers and photos from the past. Yes, a volunteer built this beautiful kiosk from found lumber, and we've had volunteers from the clinic come every once in a while in the community. And yeah, and so I know originally Maggie had the idea of me presenting to you all to maybe recruit volunteers to the garden, and now Open Door is not going to manage the garden anymore, but it still needs volunteer support from the community and community investment, because it just needs a presence there of people who are wanting to help out, and who care about, you know, our neighborhoods and beautifying some green space and having an open space for people to grow food. So yeah.
Thank you, Alissa. We have a few minutes that we can see if people have any questions or comments for you. I know that Dr. Lindsay mentioned also, what's it called, Humboldt Connections? Is that the group that does a lot of gardening? Excuse me. Oh, Cooperation Humboldt.
It's
That's
Cooperation Humboldt.
Collaboration.
Humboldt.
Yeah.
Great.
They might be interested, and I can get you the contact information for somebody in that group. Any questions or comments from anybody? Anything you want to ask Alissa about this? Members? I know it's the comforting is definitely a challenge there in that garden. So it does need regular, well, all gardens need regular care. So I do hope, and you know, let us know what happens. Let me know, because I can share it with people. And if there's any individuals who want to get involved and go out and join and support that project, I can pass the word to them, Alissa. That would be happy to do that.
Okay.
Any questions or comments? We really appreciate you coming and telling us, updating us, because I know, you know, when you see a sign there that says Open Door, and I know it's coming down, it's just good for us to know what's happening and what's changing, so that we can let other people know when they have questions, that, you know, we can tell them what's going on. So we appreciate you coming and talking to us.
I have a quick question.
Yes, go Ian.
For those of us who were severely optimistic on growing enough to eat this year and then overproduced what we can eat, does the program accept excess food from private gardens?
We would, yeah, because we definitely have the you know, we have multiple places we distribute to. So,
okay.
I mean, yeah, we would.
Great. Okay.
And we'll
We'll
just
be in
pass
touch.
it on to, yeah. Thanks.
Alyssa, if you could put your email in the chat, and then people can contact you directly and ask how to go about doing that. You know, where to deliver.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate your time. Thank you. I go sneak back into your house and
Yeah.
go back to bed or something.
No, I'm gonna make some coffee now.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Take care.
You too.
So we were talking about doing our coastal cleanup tomorrow. I wonder if we're going to delay that. Romy, what do you think, given the air quality? I don't know, but I know we have a handful of us who are planning to do it. But Jessica, you're nodding. What are your thoughts?
I thought we were on to be able to do it, but I don't know. I guess, if you feel like the air is too icky tomorrow, I mean, it's certainly not like it was on Wednesday, which was really apocalyptic. But there's just a lot of dirt or there's a lot of crap in the gutters and in the streets around here. And so I'm looking forward to going and working to clean that up.
Yes. Okay. So we are doing it. So tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, we're meeting at Wildberries. We need it. we know we have a handful of us who are doing it. Are there anybody out there who would like to join us? Kind of wave your hand so we kind of know who's coming. Mike's coming.
Hey,
I'm
Joyce.
Joyce, great. Okay. We need Tom, I think you're bringing the vests. Were you still going to be able to bring vests for us or something? We'll get some of these details, but if you have, bring your gloves, bring trash bags. We'll try.
Picker-uppers.
And if you have picker-uppers, we want to have vests out there because we're not going to be isolated from humans. We're going to be in the street, and we really need to make sure we're being seen and not hit. So 8 o'clock at Wildberries, everybody, and we'll do as much as we can with the people we have there.
Maggie,
Great.
I only have like 3 or 4 vests,
Okay,
but just a couple.
okay. So wear a
And a couple
bright,
helmets.
okay, bring what you have and wear bright colors, I guess is what I'll tell you then. And we'll see people there.
Or
Wonderful.
Rotarian at Work shirts, maybe.
Yay.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
who has access to the picker-uppers for highway cleanup?
I think Carol's the one, so we'd have to follow up with Carol, and I don't see her today. So we'll take the last minute organization of this off screen, but yeah, we'll see you guys all there, those who can, tomorrow at 8. Amanda, I wanted to see if you wanted to give a plug about the meal deliveries and just let people know where we're at with that and see if anyone else wants to join that.
Yeah, if anyone wants to, we're doing some meal deliveries for kind of seniors in the Arcata area where we have, I think there's 5 of us, and each week one of us shows up at noon on a Wednesday and picks up. We're down to only 2 meals. It may go back up. We're going to do a check to make sure there's not some seniors in need. And we take them their week's frozen meals. If anyone's interested, I have a little spreadsheet. We kind of keep going of who's going each week. It's pretty simple and easy, and I think we're doing some good help. So 1 hour on Wednesdays.
Yeah, and it doesn't even take an hour right now, so it's really quick. The other thing I wanted to mention is there has been a request for meal delivery help in Eureka on Tuesdays, and I passed it to the Eureka clubs, and they're already helping the senior center with meal deliveries, and they can't take this on, but any of us who work in Eureka and could have time at lunchtime to do meal deliveries, they're looking for help. And I didn't commit to that because I told them that, I needed to put it out to the club. But if anybody is thinking they might be able to take an hour on Tuesdays periodically, if I can get enough people together, we'll volunteer. If I can't, then we won't. So if you have any interest in that, if you're regularly in Eureka on Tuesdays or could be and would have time for that, let me know. Lisa, backpacks.
So Backpack for Kids is going to be starting up. It's going to be a little bit different this year because of COVID. So the plan is that we pick up the food on Wednesdays at Food for the People at their new station, which is on Cedar in Eureka. And then we're going to be going to someone's home, and I'm going to start off with coming to my home. And we're going to keep it limited to only 3 to 4 people. And, so that there's not a lot of people touching the food and the bags and all of that. And then they're going to be delivered. Whoever wants to deliver to them schools, they can come and it can be put into their car, and then we can deliver the next morning, Thursday morning. The reason they're doing it earlier in the week is because it's the bus. The food is going to be going on the buses to deliver to the kids, and the kids will meet at the bus stops to pick up their food. So that's why they want to do it that way. And it's going to, looking at the calendar, the first week of school, I believe I'm not sure if it's the last week of September or the first week in October, because the 1st of October is on a Thursday. So I have to check with Carrie Smith at the Food for the People to see if our first pickup is on the 30th or on the 7th.
Okay.
And so we'll go from there.
Yeah, so we have a couple weeks to get that organized and get started again on that. So we'll hear more from on that next week when we have a little more information. Mike, you're talking, but we're not hearing you.
Lisa, real quick question. Pickup was noon to 1 o'clock, kind of. Is that when it is on Wednesday?
It's going to be by noontime you can pick it up. So it'll be ready by 11 is what Carrie has told me.
Okay, so if I go to Eureka to pick it up, I have to come back and deliver food to what I'm doing on Wednesdays at noon.
Well, you don't
Or I
get to,
could bring it.
you don't have to do both things you don't have to do both things at the same time. We'll work that out with a schedule. So we'll work that out. You don't ever have to be in two places at once. Promise.
No.
Understand.
This is not Harry Potter land. So I wanted to go on because we're I don't know why these slides skip, but I did want to remind everybody that September is about basic education and literacy. And next week we're going to do some math. So I just want to forewarn you, we're going to do math. It's going to be math that I can do, so it's not going to be new math. But I thought I would point this out because basic education and literacy, it doesn't stop this is, for Rotary, it's about early years and making sure children have school and are learning, but it's also about us learning. And I wanted to give a little shout out to AJ, who's doing an Ollie bag, brown bag presentation on the 19th of October. And he's talking about financial literacy and changing technology. So AJ, good on you for volunteering to teach Ollie folks about this. What is the main thing we're going to learn? Because I might check this out. What's the main thing you're going to tell us, or is that kind of ruining it?
No, I mean their banking has definitely evolved over the years, and there's a lot of technology that's available to help protect yourself, and then it's good to be aware of all the variety of scams that are out there. So yeah, I'm approaching this from a fraud standpoint, and just ensuring that we all have the tools to not fall for what's out there, and then be more mindful of how we manage our money.
Great, thank you. So
Can you go back to that slide, Maggie?
yes, hold on. There it is. I'm having, hold on.
Okay.
The problem is I'm in slide land and not in there we go. Here we are. All right. There we go. Is it there?
Yes, thank you.
Great. So I'm going to apologize to our committee reporting folks. I'm going to ask you to report next week instead of this week because I want to get to our main presentation. But before we do that, Nick, are you ready for the raffle? Whoops.
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. Drum roll.
All right. So the pot today is $50, and those 2 gift certificates to Connect Coffee and the health sport. Let's see who's going to win today. Ooh, Dick.
Yay, Dick.
Dick wins a lot.
I don't cheat.
No, Dick, but I was about to say you have to play to win, so he plays.
Plays all the time.
Yes.
Oh, so orange ball, and that's $5 to Dick and $1 on the table. So if you want to add $1 to Venmo, go ahead and do that. If not, that's fine.
Well, we could also figure the odds of how many dollars on the table there might be in a year, and we could just all send that money once and just be done with it. But
yeah,
whatever.
everybody should just send me $100 for $1 on the table. That'll work.
There we go. Yeah, if you want to send more than $1 since you're going about your business of doing it, feel free. All right. Thank you, Nick.
I think we should do a Venmo training. I'm wondering how many people don't do it because they're intimidated by Venmo.
I can do another Venmo training. I did one with Maggie and
No, not with Maggie.
not with Maggie. Terry, I did one with Terry.
Not to brag, but I figured out Venmo.
You
on
did.
my own.
You did a great job.
Yes.
We did a great Venmo training.
Yes, and so Amanda's available. Who else would be available to train a one-on-one? Somebody with Venmo, put up your hand. I could help. Romy would help. Stephanie would help. So reach out to your friends in Rotary, and they will help you understand Venmo. And once you do it, it's so fun. I mean, I'm sending money to people I don't even know. Well, wait a minute. Okay. So
maybe you need to talk to AJ about that, sending money to people you don't know.
maybe I should. Hey, I send money with Western Union, and they when you get to be a certain age, they start asking you a lot more questions about who you're sending money to. I go, I swear to God, I know these people. So I wanted to welcome again Dr. Lindsay, who is going to share with us about Life Care Humboldt. And I didn't get your bio, so I can't tell people the wonderful things that you have done, but Anne has done a lot of wonderful things. She was worked for public health for many years, supporting our public health in our community, and as medical director. She's also worked with Stanford. She and her husband left the community for a while to do some great things down at Stanford. But today she's talking to us about how to make our process of aging in Humboldt much more, since everyone's doing it, much more, providing more options for us so that we have what we need here in Humboldt and don't have to leave the area. So Anne, I'm turning it over to you. Do you have slides you want to share?
Yes, please. I need
there you go.
To share the screen.
Yep.
Okay. Here we go. I'm first of all, Maggie, thank you for sharing the vision of Rotary. I wasn't aware. And then I also noticed that you have a lot of young people here, so be patient. This is, you maybe have parents or other people you know who need elder services. But I'm going to be talking about Life Care Humboldt. As Maggie said, I was health officer for 28 years here. And then my husband, Alan Glasseroff, and I got an opportunity to go to Stanford and set up a clinic for people high risk and high needs. And that was a great experience. But when my contract came up for renewal, I really wanted to get back to Humboldt. And I don't want to leave Humboldt again. So, and I had a number of friends who left the area to go to life plan communities, senior life plan communities. And the closest is Santa Rosa or Medford, and I met a lot of people who really thought we could do something here. And actually, we did a initial feasibility study, and it said Humboldt could support it. But the context is, and for those of you, not only the older people in the audience, that according to the Humboldt housing plan, that the growing population of elders may be the #1 housing challenge facing the county in coming years. And that actually the number of people 75 years and older is growing steadily for the next 25 years at least. And then the other context is that the county needs to build 3,390 housing units, not unites, in the next 8 years. And they've only given permits for 492 total over the last 5 years. So there's in my work here as a family practitioner over 28 years, I had a lot, as my patients got older as I did, and I had a number of patients, and especially older women, were living alone in 2 or 3 bedroom homes and actually really kind of lonely. So let's see, how do I make the next slide go? Okay, so I'm talking about life plan communities. And it basically offers seniors a continuum of living situations for all in one location. And as I said, the study showed that we could build and support a nonprofit, inclusive life plan community here, focused on active, mindful, engaged aging in Humboldt County. and it's a social investment that we need to make. And we're aiming to build 150 independent living residences, so cottages or small homes or apartments or studios, 36 assisted living places, and 36 memory or advanced care nursing places. And this is even, the study took into consideration the existing independent living, assisted living, and memory unit, but there's no place yet that has this all integrated in one facility in a nonprofit environment. And I just want to say a quick word about the memory units that we're planning. They're called small house or greenhouse, and it's basically not a medical facility looking at, it's just a big home with 10 bedrooms, and each resident will have their own bathroom and bedroom, and then a common living area and kitchen. And there's a small number of staff who really get to know the people well, and everybody eats together, and the residents are able to participate in the activities and help with the cooking or the repairs or the gardening around there, whatever they're willing to do. So we really like that model. So as I said, people, the alternatives now for this type of community, you have to move out of the area. And Maggie Banducci did surveyed asked a number of people to send in and what it costs them to live currently. And actually there's a financial calculator on our website, Humboldt, lifecarehumboldt.org, if you can do this for yourself. But as you can see, for a single person, the monthly expenses range from $1,525, which I think is a really good deal if you have a rent with no utility bills, all the way up to $3,800 for a homeowner with a mortgage, and then couple with a mortgage was $4,500. And so even then, living at home is this, but you also may need help to live at home. So one of the alternatives, and a number of people I've talked to said, oh, well, I'm building a mother-in-law unit, or I've got an extra, downstairs where somebody can come in and have their own kitchen and take care of me. But finding somebody you trust and get along with, and someone with the skills to care for you in your home is not that easy. And also, sometimes people leave, and right when you need them the most, and you and your family are faced with finding someone else to replace that person. I have actually heard of nice, really pleasant experiences. There are a couple of angels in our community who do this kind of work, but it's tricky. And family members may not be able to take care of you either. When I'm of that age, my children, even they live in Humboldt County, but they'll be in their 50s and still working, and the kids will be teenagers or in college, and they're not going to necessarily have time to give me the care that I need. So for home caregivers, it can cost you up to $1,400, $14,000 a month, and then you also have to do, the payroll taxes and all of that, and basically be a personnel manager as well, or you or your family. So it's not a experience to jump into or plan for lightly. But alternatives are, standalone assisted living, and we have a number of nice facilities here in Humboldt County, and assisted living ranges in Humboldt from $3,000 to $6,000 a month, and skilled nursing. Your Medicare will pay for the initial couple of months if you're sent from the hospital, and after that you either pay $10,000 a month until you don't have any resources, or then you go on Medi-Cal, and about 80% of the people in skilled nursing in Humboldt are on Medi-Cal now. So let's look a little bit more at what a life plan community is. In one location, you have independent living, assisted living, and memory support, home health. And we are not planning on doing skilled nursing beds. The regulations are really stringent and expensive to do. But we are following what's going on in other life plan communities, and also in our PACE program here in Eureka. And you can do a lot to keep people at home and avoid the need for skilled nursing altogether. So it's not just for, life plan communities aren't just for people who can't take care of themselves at home, that people move into the life plan communities to live, when they're younger, to live with social connections and support. And actually, COVID has given us all a taste of what it's like to be living alone. And, you know, once you don't have a car anymore, it really gets lonely here in Humboldt County. And one thing that we're really planning on is that activities are generated by residents. And life plan community that I visited in 1973 in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania, there's a Quaker Kendall outfit. I just fell in love with it. It was like a college campus for seniors, and there was a string quartet playing and you know, a book, a poetry reading happening, and the gardens were beautiful. So I went back and visited them over a year ago just to see if it still had the same charm, and it sure did. And one of the things that really blew me away was that a woman had moved in who was a master weaver, and she had set up a weaving studio, and they had 40 looms that people were working on. So that's the idea. We want to capitalize on the skills and interests of people who join the community, and really get everyone engaged in sharing their skills and learning new skills and expanding it. You know, the learning new things doesn't have to stop when you're a senior. And the idea is we want to make it such a fun place that people feel that life is better among friends. We don't want to be isolated off from the community. We want to make it all as easy as possible for friends and family to stay connected. But the one advantage is you don't have to worry about maintaining your home or hiring help. And I have 2.5 acres, which I love living on, and an extensively landscaped. I can't be doing that forever. You know, at some point it's really going to get too much. And that's one reason that's what's going to push me into a facility like this, a campus like this. So, but ideally you move into life plan community and you will not have to move again, even if you or your partners need increased care. And this, so the idea is not as much, it's aging in community. So life plan community, we're going to have recreation and classes, and really determined by what the residents want to do. The meals are provided, and actually look at this dining facility is Willamette View in Portland, which is just a gorgeous facility. That with the independent living, you get a meal a day, and with assisted living and memory care, of course, all of your meals are provided. And our plan is, we're planning to have a 3 or 4 acre farm, a lot like Mad River Hospital and Potawatomi do, so that we can eat right off of the right off of the produce produced on the spot. And I think that's a real viable model, and the properties we're looking for, that's a factor. Medical management, healthcare is a big issue for seniors. And we have a number of, you know, being in healthcare myself and my husband, we have a lot of ideas for how we could take care of people's health needs. And I don't want to go into them extensively, but it's anything from having our own primary care clinic there, or all the way, you know, to partnering with PACE program, and or at least minimally we want to provide care coordination, where if you have to go out of the area for specialty care, Life Care Humboldt care coordinators can help make sure that you get a appointment in a timely way and with the right person out of the area, that the logistics are, you help we figure out the logistics of getting down there, and all your medical information that's needed for that specialty visit arrives on time. And then after the visit, all the information gets back to Humboldt County. So I think that that's a really viable model. We'll have transportation, you know, commonly that have vans that take people to, to go to Center Arts, to performances, or you know, if it's shopping or whatever. We're aiming to actually locate, and there's 2 top choices. One is in Arcata, behind Copeland Lumber, There are 3 properties that could be put together that are west of Alliance and along M Street that would make a very nice facility very close to town. And the Cypress Grove owns some land that's lying fallow there. That's a nature conservancy, which Dave Loya, the Arcata Planning, said would, if we had a farm there, that would be consistent. And this is all really tentative. And then the other is that McKinleyville is planning a town center, that Ann Pearson owns 47 acres, of which 15 acres are zoned for medium density housing, and this would really be a nice fit. So how does this work? Generally, the life plan communities charge an entry fee that can be partially refundable. So if you pay more initially, when you die or pass on, your estate gets some of the money back. But entry fees can run between $87,000 and $425,000. And for 2 people, it's not twice as much. There's a little adjustment, but not much. And it really depends on the size of the living area. We've committed to forming a mixed income community, which turns out to complicate logistics tremendously, but our board feels like that's the right thing to do here in Humboldt County. And there are various ways of figuring that out, but some of that will be in the size of the unit, but we really want to have a unified set of services regardless of what your income is coming in. And the idea is you pay a fee. Once you're in, you not get turned out if your money goes away. That it's structured so that it's a lifetime commitment to taking care of you. There's also a monthly fee, anywhere from $2,100 to $4,100, and we're planning that the monthly fee does not increase significantly when your level of service that you need increases. So it really allows you some financial planning, for the rest of your life. It eliminates, hopefully, any of the big surprises, like, all of a sudden you need $14,000 worth of care in your home. So this is what you get for your monthly fee: your rent, utility, cable, internet. We're going to have tech support, which I, as a senior, I'm just thrilled about. Meals, transportation, maintaining the facility, emergency aid, fitness membership classes, and security system. And so that's really what you can figure that's what costs you people at home, to buy all of those things separately. Here's our board of directors, and we just got Kirk Gerard. I haven't updated this. He's joined our board of directors, a former planning director of Humboldt County. Patty Berg ran the Area 1 Agency on Aging for a time and was assembly member. George Williamson of Plans West, a planner. Pat Gertze, who was the dean of health sciences at College of the Redwood. Joanne Shook, who was very instrumental in getting the Redwood Coast Village, the volunteer senior organization, together. Greg Orsini, who just retired as Community Services District and manager in McKinleyville, and Mark Chatton, who's just retired also as a tech, ran the tech at Redwood, what's it called? The bank. Redwood, I'm spacing out on it now. The local bank.
Redwood Capital.
Now, Redwood Capital Bank. Yeah, thank you. The Life Care Humboldt, we're now finally, after a really long wait, we've achieved being a nonprofit tax-exempt corporation. And if you want to make a donation, you can go on to our website, lifecarehumboldt.org. Actually, donations are piling in. But one of the things I really wanted to share, and this, I think this is my last slide, is that we want to enable, we've adopted as core values. We want to enable residents to maintain independent lives in their own Life Care Humboldt homes. And if you want to be alone, you can, but if you want to be with people, it's a lot easier than living in your own house in the community, outside community. We want to enhance the quality of life and nurture a sense of community, promote an environment of continued learning, culture, and wellness, and fun. We realize we're going to have to make it a fun place to have people get up and take the courage to get up and leave their homes and move in. We want to welcome all people, including establishing mixed income housing. We want to provide high quality healthcare programs along a continuum of services. And we plan to adopt a model that ensures affordability and security. We want to participate in and contribute to the well-being of the larger community, engage in sustainable practices that improve our environment. And one of the people who just joined our planning group was taught sustainable building at Oregon State University in Corvallis. So that's where we're getting the experts engaged. We want to foster a rewarding work experience and professional growth opportunities for staff, because happy workers make good employees and they make really satisfied residents. We figure that there'll be up to 60 jobs created with this. We want to foster a culture of generosity. So I really would love your help in designing our own life plan community. We really want to design it with the people here. There's under the you can go into lifecarehumboldt.org, and we have a design preference survey. It's under one of the tabs on the top, that general information, and it only takes you a few minutes, but then we get to know what you think, what it would take to get you to move in, and what do you think we should do. So I have about 3 minutes for questions, so I can stop sharing my screen.
Great. So are there questions or comments for Anne about this?
All right.
Well, you really gave a lot.
Looks like Howard, are you?
Anne, did I miss this? Have you found property where it will be located?
Either, we looked at a dozen places, and we need at least 15 acres, and a number of them we didn't, like the town of Scotia would have been kind of cute, but there's a big lumber mill make noise and spewing smoke. Anyway, so the two are that are on the top right now are McKinleyville Town Center, which is between Hiller and Railroad Avenue, and east of McKinleyville Avenue. There's 47 acres. And then also in Arcata, there's are 3 parcels which we might be able to pull together behind the Copeland Old Lumber, between 11th Street and 17th, more or less, west of Alliance. So some of which empty and some of which have some buildings on it. The old Reed-Wright Mill is one.
Rebecca, you had a question?
Yeah, I was curious the timeline, and I guess I also just wanted to say I think this is really great. My grandmother retired to a community like that in New Hampshire, and it was just amazing to see her thrive. She was a weaver. She brought her loom, so that story really resonated with me. It was really beautiful. So I'm curious just the timeline for this location here, up here.
Sure. Optimistically, 3 to 5 years. It depends on how fast we raise money and how fast the permits and all of that go along. I also wanted to mention we had planned to have house parties where people could learn about this, but we're doing it by Zoom. And so if you're interested, and if you have some friends want to hear some more about this, you can go to the website, lifecarehumboldt.org, and let us know that, and I'll be happy to schedule house parties. But yeah, a lot of you, it won't not be relevant for you immediately, but you probably have parents or family ready to move here.
Well, Anne, we really appreciate you giving us this update on this. I think it's a great opportunity, and some of us are sitting here going, oh, that's not for me, but it's not happening right now. In 3 to 5 years, things may be different, and it creates opportunities for people to live in a home, but just home with more attributes and built and thought out with their current lifestyle and situation in mind, and to not lose out on anything in our community. So I think that's really awesome. We wanted to give in appreciation. We are donating to the Tri-County Independent Living Center here that supports people with disabilities. And we really appreciate you joining us this morning and sharing this. And thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. I came up with this. Since we had a medical doctor here, we could humor. Anyway, so hope to see some of you out tomorrow morning. Let's clean up these dirty streets and do that. And otherwise, we have a board meeting next Tuesday if you'd like to join that. I've sent the link out before. It's the same link if you could dig it out. But if you don't have it and want to come to the board meeting, let me know and I'll send it out to you again. Or maybe I don't want to send it to everybody because people get too much email. But if you'd like the link, let me know. And have a great Friday. Where's my gong thingy bong? And we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Thank you.